Centre 97.3, Est-Ouest 91.7.
Happy Friday, Rm1, 9 o'clock. The news presented by Ayrece Stewart. Good morning, Ayrece.
Good morning, Sophie.
The headlines.
15-year-old girl abandoned by her parents living for nearly a year at SSRN hospital shines light on a case that exposes deep flaws in Mauritius's child protection system. 16-year-old boy seeks help from police, prompting a child abuse investigation after officers see signs of physical violence. Malagasy billionaire Mami Ravatomang says he will cooperate with Mauritian authorities as he faces international probe into alleged corruption and tax fraud. Mauritius urged to harness its vast potential in fishing and aquaculture at the Assises des l'Océan Forum. Journalists from across the island join a Gender Links EU training in Port Louis to strengthen inclusive coverage of LGBTIQ+ issues. Social workers call for a broader definition of poverty in Mauritius, saying income alone fails to capture daily hardships. In world news, Turkey deploys disaster relief teams to recover hostages in Gaza. And in sports news, elections for the Mauritius Olympic Committee set for October 25 as more than 20 federations file nominations. And we start this morning with a story that raises serious questions about Mauritius's child protection system. For nearly a year now, a teenage girl labeled as troubled has been living at the SSRN hospital in the north. Abandoned by her parents, she's still waiting for a permanent solution and for the authorities' decision. Listen to more in this report by Santana Ponsenu, voiced by Lovina Sophie, highlighting the urgent need to address gaps in our system.
Since December 2024, a 15-year-old girl has been living at the Sosiusago Ramgulam Hospital. According to our information, her parents have twice refused to sign the documents authorizing her placement in a convent and also refused to take her back home. As a result, the hospital has by default become her refuge. According to the Ministry of Gender Equality and Child Protection, her case is both unique and particularly sensitive. The story goes back to 2021 when she was first reported for a case of harassment at school. But things deteriorated. Her parents accused her of inappropriate behavior while she claims to have been a victim of abuse within her own family. Today, the ministry admits it is facing a legal vacuum as no decision can yet be made at their level and there is no existing facility to permanently host a minor abandoned in this way by her family, who also refused her placement in a convent. For one official, the SSRN hospital has therefore become a safe place similar to a shelter. On-site caregivers and patients describe her as a gentle and helpful young girl who even assists in caring for other patients despite her own distress. Yet behind this courage lies deep loneliness. At this stage, we understand that a report has been submitted to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions and a decision is now awaited on what to do with this teenager whom no one seems to want. A situation that once again sounds the alarm about a gap in our system when parents give up and the law remains silent. It is a child who pays the price alone in a hospital bed.
A 16-year-old boy walked into the Abercrombie police station alone, claiming he had been assaulted by his father and no longer wanted to return home. He also mentioned frequent tensions with other members of his family. The Child Development Unit was alerted and intervened with police support, but according to officers, the parents were aggressive and uncooperative during the meeting. The teenager, who bore visible signs of violence, was taken to Dr. Jitu Hospital and later transferred to Maibu Hospital due to a lack of available beds. He's currently under medical observation while police have opened an investigation for child abuse. During a seminar on drugs organized by Resistance Alternative, Junior Minister Kugan Parapen publicly expressed his disagreement with Sam Loton's positions on anti-drug policy, while affirming his great respect for the president of the National Anti-Drug Agency. The government member said he did not identify with his statements. He also voiced his concerns about the future direction of the NADC, which he described as uncertain. Malagasy businessman Mami Ravatomang says he wants full transparency and is ready to cooperate with Mauritian authorities. He arrived in Mauritius aboard his private jet alongside several high-profile figures, including former Malagasy Prime Minister Christian Say, a landing that stirred controversy locally. The billionaire is reportedly the subject of an international judicial inquiry for alleged corruption and tax fraud. He has hired attorney Siddhartha Awalda to represent him. Mauritius holds significant potential in fishing, aquaculture and food security. This week's Assise de l'Océan focused on the challenges threatening our marine resources while promoting innovation and sustainable development. Officials noted that despite a solid system already in place, there's still vast untapped potential. Climate change poses real risks, but it shouldn't deter efforts to build a sustainable ocean economy. According to Mira Kunjal, director at the Ministry of Blue Economy and Fisheries, such forums are vital for collective reflection and for finding innovative solutions to protect and develop our ocean resources. Around 15 journalists took part in the Marang Southern Africa LGBTIQ+ Fund media training held on Thursday in Port Louis. The event was organized by Gender Links Mauritius with support from the European Union. The goal, to promote inclusive and respectful journalism on LGBTIQ+ issues across the SADC region. Participants described the training as an opportunity to better understand and represent diversity in their reporting. And in other news, the poverty threshold often used to measure inequality should not depend solely on household income. Other key factors such as education, health, geography, and even the impacts of climate change must also be considered. The issue was the focus of a national consultation held ahead of the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty. Currently, about 30,000 Mauritian families earn less than 14,650 rupees per month and are classified as living in relative poverty. But social workers argue that these figures don't reflect the true reality on the ground. Experts like Samuel Kariapen from Monad Charity, Patricia Adel Fizite from Caritas Mauritius, and Ashok Subron emphasized the need to rethink how poverty is defined by looking at its prevalence, intensity, and social context. For organizations such as Our Heritage Foundation and ABAM, the fight against poverty must go beyond financial aid to include job opportunities, psychological support, and the social integration of homeless individuals. And it's 9:07. We're listening to Rm1 where we move to international news. Turkey has deployed dozens of disaster relief specialists to help search for bodies beneath the rubble in Gaza. The operation comes as US President Donald Trump warned Hamas on Thursday over a series of recent killings in the territory, describing them as a violation of the ceasefire deal he brokered, under which the group returned its last 20 surviving hostages to Israel. Hamas says it has already handed over all the bodies of the deceased captives it could locate, but the remains of 19 others are still missing, believed to be buried under the ruins along with an unknown number of Palestinians. The group reiterated its commitment to the ceasefire, saying it intends to return all remaining bodies through the process, though the process may take time, as many were trapped in collapsed tunnels or bombed buildings. And finally, in sports, elections for the Mauritius Olympic Committee will take place on Saturday, October 25, in preparation for the exercise. Around 20 Olympic sports federations, including the Tennis Federation, have already submitted their nomination forms. Those eligible to vote or stand as candidates have until noon this Friday, October 17, to submit their applications. This was confirmed by Vice President of the MOC, who added that nomination day could be held on Tuesday, October 21st. That's all from me this morning. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay